Alright, just doing a quick video showing the install of the 2024 Plus Pan America battery, which is the larger Softail size, around 320 cold cranking amps, more amp hours. It's about 1/3 larger than the 21 to 23 battery. So I read a number of things about needing quite a few parts to swap the batteries I have a 2023, so on one of those models with the 24. I also have heard that you only need the bracket that holds the battery in, as well as the upgraded wire. So I'm going to try that first, see if I'm able to make it work, and then if not, I will continue down the rabbit hole of additional parts. So here I'm just showing a quick look at the bracket difference. The dirty one is obviously the older existing one. You can see there's not much of a difference, but where there's noticeable differences here, right? I'll show it on the other side. If I flip it over, you can definitely see, whereas this one is flat all the way across, this one here has a smaller cavity for the smaller battery. So that's really the only significant difference. I mean, there's some slight differences in how the hinge work. I think that's just, standard upgrade stuff. Doesn't seem to change anything. Everything other than that, it all looks identical as far as how it holds all of the different electrical equipment. All right, I'll just leave it recording while I'll do this. Take it for what it's worth. And here you can see the actual inside of this, how it comes up and around, and some of the electronics going out to the negative. We're going to recreate that exact same pattern in the new one. Okay, so here, this is after I've already removed the battery. If you don't know how to do that, I would suggest looking at one of the many videos that are already out there on how to remove the battery. This is, again, the 2023, so this was for the smaller battery. The only thing that I see here that I will need to adjust in order to accommodate the larger battery is this little tab right here. This is bent up around to just fitting the smaller battery. So my plan is to level that out and maybe somehow affix a different clamp on the other side, saving quite a bit of money. All right, so one part that's pretty important that I forgot about is the crash bars are actually installed into the ends of the tray. So those should have come off quite some time ago in this process. I don't know. Apparently just some elbow grease. All right, here's those two batteries. You can see the one on the left. It's quite a bit bigger. One thing that I did not count on is it is quite a bit taller, not only wider. And so I was not able to just make that existing tray work. I did have to order the larger tray to go with the larger bracket. Okay, so I'm working on putting this on. I've already started loosening and removing the old one. And if you look, it's the same. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that we need to take out. And the two on the end, they are actually part of the engine guard, right? So the engine guard that comes down here ends right in here. That goes into the end. So you can see it here. It went into the lower one, actually. So I actually removed all the bolts, and you can see it's just dangling. So I'm going to work on taking off the tank next. This is still the old tank. The new tank is on the back order. You know, I just want to see just how different it is, and if there's any way this one will still work. I highly doubt it, given what I learned on the tray, but might as well try. Now, I've got this thing on the new tray, and I'm trying to see if I can make this work with the other unit being back ordered. Well, you know, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. While it looks pretty close, right? If I could get this thing pushed all the way down, we would be good, but that's not going to work because you can see here, when you look from the top down, the tab partway through is really, it just kind of cuts right into half. So the new one's going to be quite a bit thinner on this side, or at least a big indentation for that tab. So looks like I'm waiting. Like I said, who knows how long before I can continue with this. At this point, I'm committed, so I'm just going to wait till I have all the parts to continue on. So as it turns out, it took almost 4 months to get the overflow tank. So what you're really seeing here, and you've probably noticed, is this video is a combination of 2 different attempts that I took to replace this tray. I ended up putting the whole thing back together to be able to use the bike for a few months. And then here we are back again doing the same task. One quick note about the cable, the upgraded cable to be able to handle the increased power from the new battery. At least that's what I assume. I don't claim to be an electrician. This is going to go much in the same way on the same bracket. You know, it's snaked in through the back of the bracket. I have a picture. I'll put it up there of what it looks like. Also, I would advise taking a picture of your own it's what I do all the time working on these bikes. In case you didn't take a picture, here's one. The back side of the battery bracket. Use this to guide you if needed. After snaking that through the back of the bracket, this will go up to snaked up through the side of the bike here. So you can see it now up through here, up to the main fuse of the bike. So that replaces that whole piece. Okay, so here's the inside of that 40 amp fuse holder. There's little plastic tabs on the prongs. Just gently pull those back to get those wires out. Okay, so the tray is in, the overflow tube is in, the overflow tank is in. Don't forget to take the grommets off of your old battery tray for the overflow tank. There's also one that goes in the back. I don't know what for. It seems like a spare or something. Yeah, I'm ready to put the battery in and pretty much call this a day. I'm not going to be putting on the bash plate because I'm going to go on the other side. I have the charging kit here, and that's going to be another video. But once I get the battery in and the bracket over it, we'll call it a day. And hopefully this was helpful. Battery is in, brackets closed, everything's buttoned up. I just did a fit check on the bash plate. That's going to fit, but that's going to call it for this job. Thanks, guys.